Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate breakdown for Tuesday, May 14th. We got another big slate on our hands today. Yesterday was a fun one. Alex Bregman just nuked the slate, went absolutely nuts, and we had some wild pitching that went down. So what we will go over today is we'll start off by the winning lineups and the perfect lineups, followed by a pitching to consider for today's slate and some stacks to consider. So that is what we will do. And before we get into it, come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to everything we do. All the props, all the DFS, you get it all. You could also use any of our promo offers that are right down there. Parlay Play, Sleeper, Underdog, or Chalkboard. Now, let's get into the slate. Let's have some fun. So, we will start off going over to FanDuel and the perfect lineup there. And we had Mitch Keller, who just pitched an absolute gem, putting up 49. And then all one-offs yesterday for the perfect lineup. And that's a good reminder that we're not trying to get the perfect lineup. The perfect lineup is going to consistently be one-offs or small stacks. We're just trying to win the tournament. The perfect lineup had a 344.9 point score on FanDuel, whereas the winning was 252.1. So there is a huge difference, and that's why we lean into the stacking. It is incredibly hard to consistently pick out, all the batters that go nuts when they're one-off. So yesterday's winning lineup, we had a 4-4 stack. We had Pittsburgh and Houston. It's something we don't see that often, but it does come through every now and then. Pittsburgh put up 8, Houston put up 9, and they led the way with runs and just a pretty wild game score. Now Kirby went nuts. He was the pitcher. The Sawinski, Reynolds, Cruz, 3 as well as Grandal just went nuts for Pittsburgh. And Houston, they did okay, but it's really this Bregman pick that just went absolutely nuts. Bregman was only 8% owned, and he really pulled those Houston stacks along. The stacks by Houston really weren't that great outside of Bregman. He just did so good that he just pulled so many of those Houston stacks along yesterday. But congrats to J4K3B. You won $25K. Now let's get over to DraftKings. And the DraftKings perfect lineup. We had Mitch Keller. We had George Kirby. And one-offs. Oh, we did have a two-man Arizona stack, who Arizona did have a nice game there. Newman put up 20. Moreno put up 20 for a bottom of the order stack. 266.45 total, and 204.25 went to Shady Advice with the win. He won by 12.8 points, so real solid win. Won by quite a bit there, and he had a 5-man Pittsburgh stack, 2-man Arizona, and 1 Houston. Good old 5-2-1 on DraftKings got it done once again. Obviously, a very good lineup construction, as we consistently are talking about 5-2-1. Walker and Marte didn't even do too much with their stack. It was just enough to get it there. It was really all Pittsburgh stack that got it done here, and they're low owned, so went a good distance. And then obviously 5% owned Bregman putting up 41 is a pretty big game changer there. So congrats to Shady Advice. You took it down. Now let's get into today. All right, starting with pitcher. Let's get over to the high owned. We got Joe Ross. He is only 5,200, which is just crazy low. I mean, we have him at 2.7 value. The consensus has him at a big time value. 5.2K is just way too low for him. Now, he doesn't have, he's versus Pittsburgh, who they haven't been great versus righties, but we do know that they can hit the ball. I don't love the spot for Pittsburgh here. I think Ross is an interesting play here. He also has likely been getting a little unlucky. 5.88 ERA versus a 4.26 FIP over his last 5 starts. One thing here is there's just not major upside. 22.8% K rate over his last 20. 16.1 over his last 5. Now, I think 5,200 is way too low for him, but there are some things that are scary about his profile. His StatCast data is not looking great. 42% fly balls, ton of barrel balls, very little soft contact, decent amount of hard contact. They're hitting line drives off him. Teams are doing well, and Pittsburgh has done very well versus him in 37 plate attempts, hitting .312. You put all that together, only a 20.2 combined K rate. Look, he is too cheap, and I agree, but for him to be the highest owned pitcher and to really need him, he's got to put up like 20. Can he do it? Absolutely, but he has one game of that this year. If he puts up 15, 16 points, he's absolutely usable and he's fine, but he isn't going to be a difference maker. So that's the one thing I want you to think about with using him. Because of this value, he's going to end up in a ton of lineups today. He's going to be in a ton of optimized lineups, ton of hand-build lineups, just because people see the value. And that value is showing up both on us for our projections and the consensus. So it will show up a bit. Next, we got Chris Sale. We got a decent projection, 1.9x, 21% ownership, 5-star alert score. Look, he's been pitching absolutely amazing with the Braves. 2.63 FIP over his last 5 starts, 30% K rate. So we see the upside. Cubs are striking out at 23%. I think it's a pretty interesting spot here to go with Sale, and StatCast data looks real good too. The only thing is that the Cubs have been decent versus lefties. 282 average versus lefties. Not hitting a ton of home runs, not stealing a lot of bases, but they are hitting the ball hard with a 192 ISO. That ISO is the same over the short term, but the average is up a little bit. I'm intrigued to go with Sale for sure. 24.7 combined K rate. I'm going to probably have a little bit of them. May not go overboard with it, but definitely intrigued to have some. Next, we got Logan Gilbert. 9.2K, 2.1x value, 3.5-star alert score. FIP has been great, both in the short term and the long term. This 3.25 over the last 5 has been great, and he's just been really good so far this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his 8 starts he's landed in the perfect lineup. And this matchup isn't that scary. His StatCast data looks real good. The one thing is that KC is hitting righties fairly hard with a 173 ISO. 254 average over the last 150 games versus righties. 230 over the short term, last 20 games. The scary thing here for Gilbert is in 51 plate attempts, they're hitting 319 off of him. Now, I think Gilbert is a little bit of a different pitcher this year, and really, they've got to him once in Kansas City, twice in Kansas City, and then back in 2021 as a rookie, they hit him at home. Now, he's a different pitcher from the rookie years. I wouldn't take that much into him, but for the most part, we have seen either they rock him or he gets over on them with a good score. So 7 innings, 5 Ks, 1 earned run, 7 innings, 7 Ks, 1 earned run were his 2 big ones. So this is a spot where I don't mind a little bit of Kansas City due to this BVP data here, but reminder, 51's not a big sample size here. But I also don't mind some Gilbert. we only have him at a 20.6% combined K rate. That's due to the short term where KC just isn't striking out much. But the BVP data shows 25.5. He's at 25.6. I'm definitely intrigued to go with some Gilbert. That 20.6 does not scare me off too much. Next, we got Dylan Cease. Lord Cease. Look, he is in an absolute great matchup. I expect him to be much higher owned than we're showing right now. 28% K rate versus righties for Colorado. Cease has just been absolutely unbelievable lately. 2.13 FIP, 33% K rate. I love that. The StatCast data is a little scary though, but I'm really not worried about it. I love the spot for Cease, and if he is coming in a little bit lower owned like we have him right now, I will be all over him. 29.1% combined K rate. We just don't see a combined K rate that high very often, so I love the spot. And definitely going to be getting some Cease. Sonny Gray, 10.5K. This is another spot that I am very intrigued about. He's pitched very good. FIP of 3 over the last 5, 2.88 over the last 20. Solid K rate. Over the short term, 32.5% K rate. StatCast data hasn't looked great, but it just hasn't really been bothering him. He's been pitching extremely well, getting it done. He just got lit up versus Milwaukee a little bit last game, but I would expect he bounces back from that. And it's a good spot. A's 293 WOBA, 238 or 23.8% K rate, 27% combined K rate. So another spot with real nice upside, and I don't mind trying to pick on the Angels a little bit. Next, we got Waka. 6,800, 2.0x. I think this is likely your pivot off super high-owned Joe Ross. 6.8K is still probably undervalued for Waka. Waka hasn't been great in the short term, but long-term wise, 4.1 FIP is fine. His downside is that he just doesn't have big-time K stuff. 20.5% K rate over the last 20, but we do have almost a 23% combined K rate. So there is a little more upside than for Joe Ross. He is a little more expensive, but I think it's an interesting spot. Seattle strikes out a ton. The issue here is the BVP data. 60 plate attempts, they're hitting 321 off him. So it's another spot I don't mind going either way. Now, if we look into it a little bit more, he got tagged in 2022 by them, and then also in 2021, but put up a gem last season versus them. And, hard to really know if leaving the Padres has hurt him a little bit, but the game is in Seattle, and it is a very pitcher-friendly park. Next, we got Ronel Blanco. Guy has been pitching very, very well. He just keeps getting it done. 2.23 ERA on the year. However, I have big-time worries. His FIP is way higher than his ERA. 5.15 over his last 20 starts. 4.9 over his last 5. 1.56 higher than his ERA. So I definitely have some worry about regression. Oakland, since April 28th, is first in multiple hitting categories, which is wild. This is Oakland we're talking about. They're just hitting the ball very well right now. Blanco's allowing a ton of fly balls, some decent amount of hard contact. I don't love the spot for Blanco. 23.5% K rate is a little low for me today. I can see you wanting to go here. I'm just probably not. Reed Detmers. He hasn't been pitching great. I don't love the spot for him. However, Cardinals versus lefties has been extremely bad. 256 WOBA, 87 ISO, but 18% combined K rate. I could see you wanting some Detmers, but with a combined K rate, 8.3K, I just can't see myself going there. Now, one of my favorite low-owned guys, Hunter Green today. Arizona, not great versus righties. 300 WOBA, 129 ISO. They are a pesky offense, but Green has some solid upside. FIP before, 29.2% K rate over his last 20. Over the last 5, 3.15 FIP. So he's been pitching at, pretty much an elite level. His K rate has come down a little bit, but I don't mind getting here. He's also better away. He allows a ton of fly balls, which is really bad in Cincinnati. But once he gets away from that and, fences are a little further out, becomes a little bit better. But 25.4% K rate, 8.6 K, 1.9x value. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm going to have some of them. Now, we've seen him get tagged, for decent run totals in the past, so I don't mind having some Arizona here, but I definitely am intrigued with Hunter Green. Chris Paddock at 6.5K is interesting. Has been pitching super well lately. We have him at 2.2x value, so it's another potential pivot off Ross. I don't think you have to go to Ross. There are other cheap pivots you can throw in there. Pivetta, this is one of the better hitting environments on the slate today. Winds are blowing 10 to 15 miles an hour out. Pivetta was pretty bad his first time out. He also got rocked in the minors in his rehab starts. He's also likely still limited. I think he probably around, mid 70s pitches today. With that, I just can't get there. Don't mind some Rays stacks. I also don't mind some Boston stacks today. Gavin Stone in a good spot versus the Giants. Giants versus righties just aren't that great. 27% K rate, under 300 WOBA. One thing I have to say about Stone is, just like yesterday, his FIP is 2.2 points higher than his ERA. There is probably some regression coming. Does it happen today? I don't know. Giants aren't great, but I don't love the spot for Stone with a lack of upside. I don't love Savali today. Carlos Rodon, I think you could do worse than Rodon. I don't mind going there, but I don't love it. He has a little bit of an upside with his K rate here. His StatCast data is a little worrisome. He's averaging 56% less fantasy points away, and BVP data isn't great. I could see you taking a little bit. I wouldn't go overboard with it. Now, let's get over to FanDuel and go over pitchers here real quick here. Highest owned, Dylan Cease over here. He's 11K on both sites. I think he is far and away the best pitcher to take today, and I definitely am going to have a decent amount of him. So yesterday, there wasn't really a chalk pitcher. Today on FanDuel, it is Dylan Cease. And this 38% probably isn't going to scare me away. The fact is that there's 11 games, and we can get different enough with hitting that I don't mind eating some of that chalk. Chris Sale, 10.4K. I don't mind going with some Sale, but he's only 3.2x value with our projections. The projection is a little bit better for the consensus for him. We got a 5-star alert score. I am okay with him, but I would rather eat the chalk on Cease than Sale. Logan Gilbert priced up a little bit more on FanDuel, but definitely interested with him as I am with Sonny Gray. I think Sonny Gray is your best pivot off Dylan Cease in my mind. Our projections are very similar to him there. The combined K rate is high enough to have a solid ceiling, and really his numbers are pretty similar. He's just not in a spot where the lineup he's facing has as high of a K rate. Definitely intrigued to go with some Sonny Gray, as well as Hunter Green, 9.3K with some decent upside there. Those are my main kind of targets for pitching on FanDuel. Could have a little bit of Waka, probably not going to have much, but it's at least an interesting one for me. Joe Ross is way more expensive on FanDuel. I'm likely not really getting there over here. So let's get into some stacks now. All right. Game total wise, it is even a lower scoring slate than yesterday. Cleveland, Texas game total of 9. Tampa Bay, Boston game total of 9. Both of those being closer games. The big time blowout games look to be Atlanta with minus 202 and Padres minus 303, but only a game total of 7. So Padres are expected to win that by quite a bit. All right. Last 5 FIP, Quinn Prester has been the worst, 6.67 going against this Milwaukee offense. Now, Rhys Hoskins left the game yesterday. I haven't seen any news on what his status is. Looks like he will undergo an MRI exam. So we probably have to see how he is feeling today if he's out of the lineup. They definitely don't look as good offensively, but Prester hasn't been great. So I would say Milwaukee is definitely in play. Now let's get over to the highest owned. Our highest owned stack, Cincinnati versus Slade Ciccione. Slade, 4.99 FIP over his last 5, 4.58 over the last 20. I'm very interested in some Cincinnati today. They are just one of those teams that score fantasy points in a lot of different ways, and I'm a little bit intrigued. It's a decent park. Don't mind going against Slade. We'll definitely have some. Milwaukee, as I said, versus Prester, I'm going to have some. Cleveland, I'm intrigued on. Jack Leiter is a big-time prospect, but he really just hasn't been able to figure it out in the MLB yet, so I'm fine taking some Cleveland, as that is another pesky offense that just somehow comes through in the clutch over and over again. Dodgers versus Keaton Winn. Winn has been okay. He hasn't been terrible. Don't mind some Dodgers. The issue with Dodgers, and I say it time and time again, is they are just so expensive. It sets up a little bit better for them to be, small stacks or secondary stacks than the first stack, just because of how expensive they are. It's really hard to fit, 3 guys over 6K or 2 guys that are 6K and a 5K guy. So that's the highest owned. Now let's get over to the highest projected. I do imagine that Cleveland and Dodgers are going to be on highest projected. And we got Dodgers and Cleveland, both of them coming in as 2 of the higher projected teams. We went over both, so I will just get right over to value. All right, our highest value, we got Boston, 2.5x value. And then also Oakland. I talked about how good Oakland has been lately. Blanco is probably due some regression here. So I don't mind going with Oakland. And then with Boston, I think they're in a very, very interesting spot. Savali hasn't been that great lately. Hopefully it will. There we go. Savali hasn't been that great lately. Mid 4 FIP or 4.8 FIP over the last 5, 3.8 over the last 20. His ERA has been way higher, but there is likely to be some regression there. So maybe that comes today here. But he's just been letting guys on base, and it's friendly hitting weather in Boston. Winds are blowing out towards left center. I think it is an interesting spot to take some of these bats at low ownership with decent kind of value here. Cleveland also popping up a little bit on the value, which is interesting to me, seeing as they are also one of the higher projected and higher owned. And the highest ceiling, Dodger Braves? Maybe Padres sneaking in there a little bit. Dodgers, Oakland, New York. I think New York is an interesting one. They're going to go under owned versus Chris Paddock. Paddock has been extremely good lately, but he can absolutely get blown up. We've seen it time and time again, where he's let 7 runs in 3 innings or something, gets pulled, and then you get into the bullpen. So having a little New York, I think, is interesting today, and I don't mind taking some of him. Now let's get over to the highest FIP over the last 20. And it is Quinn Prester. So he wins both of them. Milwaukee is definitely in an interesting spot today. So let's check on some teams now. Oops. Extreme close-up. Come on. Why aren't you coming back? All right. So our highest Jeez. I cannot control my own computer today. All right. There we go. All right. So highest implied total. We got Boston. It is definitely a stack I am interested in. Cleveland is popping up. Tampa Bay is popping up. And Texas. All are at 4.8x. Then you got Houston at 4.7. Dodgers at 4.7. All of which are interesting. Now, if you look at the hitting matchups a little bit more, Keaton Wynn, allowing a lot of hard contact, high average exit velocity. The bullpen's ERA is ballooned a little bit. Dodgers are very interesting. Tampa Bay, Nick Pivetta, a lot of hard contact, 41% hard contact, but their bullpen has been pretty good. Cleveland, going against Leiter, 36% hard contact, 92 mile an hour average exit velocity, poor bullpen. They're intriguing. And Savali, 35% hard contact. Bullpen hasn't been great. Absolutely intrigued to go there. I said I was also intrigued to go with Cincinnati down here. The bullpen for Arizona hasn't been great. Ciccione hasn't allowed much hard contact, though, so they're going to have to, Slade may need to be on, just a bad day a little bit to get that one happening. A little interested in San Diego against Quintrell. Quintrell was a Padre, so they know him well. He's not giving up much hard contact here. Bullpen's been meh, so definitely intrigued to go there. Minnesota has done well against Rondon, and he's given up high average exit velocity, but bullpen's been good. Milwaukee is definitely an interesting one. 33% hard contact, almost 90 mile an hour average exit velocity. Bullpen's been bad. I'm definitely intrigued by them and by Arizona. So that'll do it today. It's going to be an interesting slate. Good luck. Let's win some money. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Helps a ton. Just helps us, improve our reach. Give away more content for free. Adios. Have a good one. See you guys later. Good luck.